Hey, and we are live. Hi, Facebook friends and fellow business owners, entrepreneurs. I hope you're all doing really well today on this Monday. I'm joined by the lovely Annie Godreau.
Very good. Very good.
All the way from Canada.
Yes, Toronto.
I always get confused with the whole French and the Canada thing. It just doesn't really make that much sense to me because you do sound very French, and you're like, "Well, he's from Canada." But yeah, I'm really excited to have Annie join me today. We're going to have a conversation that's really going to help you if you've been thinking about time management and boosting your productivity and health and all of those really great things. So stay tuned. I see there's people joining us already. Let us know where in the world you are. Say hello if you have any questions. Annie is going to be more than accommodating and answering them all for you, and equally I can as well. So Annie, why don't you say hi and introduce yourself?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Yes, there are a lot of French Canadians in this big country of ours, so you would definitely meet a lot of French people wherever you are around here. So I am a fellow businesswoman, but I'm also a nutritionist and wellness coach, and as a former endurance athlete, I've made a little bit of my passion to understand how one actually does look at energy and how do you actually increase your energy. So this is going to be an exciting conversation.
Amazing. So I'm sure not only me are interested to know what are these endurance events that you've done. Annie, give us a little bit of a backstory on those.
Well, I started as a runner, and interestingly enough, I started as a runner because I was a very stressed out executive. And running was the only thing that you could really do wherever you are. And you don't need a membership to a gym. You don't need to be on a schedule. You can just go outside. And I really literally got the bug and loved running so much that I thought, okay, I'm going to sign up for these distances, and eventually became addicted to the marathon distance and ended up doing the Boston Marathon and setting bigger goals for myself. And then eventually thought, okay, so what's bigger than this? I had been eyeing with fear but admiration the people who did Ironman triathlons, where they swim 4 kilometers and then they bike 180 kilometers and then they finish with a marathon. And I thought, I cannot imagine how you do that. So I got into endurance triathlons, Ironman, and did 3 of those amongst, a lot of other races as well. But that was the crown achievement.
Wow. That's really amazing. My God, hats off. I used to do like adventure racing, like running, but never more than 12K. Climbing mountains, kayaking, that kind of thing. But wow, Ironman, like, wow. So you're definitely qualified to help people boost their energy. And tell us more about how you help entrepreneurs. Or you're not necessarily only entrepreneurs, I'm sure, right?
That's right. Usually it would be, I call them my smart and successful women.
Right.
People that are looking to get more out of life. And they are looking at every dimensions of their life and go, what needs tweaking? And as a nutritionist, and obviously I know a lot about fitness, but overall, because I come from a business background and having had, my life run by timelines and, very stressful demands, I understand the needs of women that are constantly being, bombarded with these requests. And I understand what it's like to, we all know a little bit of what are the things that are good for us, but there's not real practical strategies out there for women truly to know, this is all nice, but how does one do this when I've got to be at work or I've got to be on emails at 7 a.m. and all the way down to, 7 p.m. How does this all, work in my life? So I help them with real strategies. And we look at nutrition, but we also look at activity, and we look at building better habits and systems so that they can get more out of, their life.
I love that. And it feels to me, and it always feels to me when I speak to people like you, that you always make it sound so easy. And then most of us are drowning in a million things to do. And then we're like, and we have to keep healthy, and we have to keep our energy levels up, and we have to do all our household chores. So give us some secrets to success when it comes to keeping our energy at optimum levels and having some serious productivity as well?
It can be easy. And you're right to say that we make it look easy, because one of the biggest thing is people are not lacking goals more, they're lacking systems. In my life, I have designed my life so that everything is uber easy. That's the difference. Some people start from scratch all the time. And that is a very inefficient way of going about, whether it is having, healthy snacks in the household and meals that are ready to go. And it is about activity, like simple things like all my gear is in one place. I don't even have to think, because I go out at 5:30 a.m. I don't want to think. I'm too I'm too much still in my sleep coma, but everything is ready to go. So the designing the systems that are easy is the biggest, I would say, the biggest thing that people don't realize that they can tap into.
Okay, so if there's somebody watching right now and they're not doing anything like health-wise, they're just like, working, a simple system that they could put in place to get started tomorrow would be?
Get up 20 minutes earlier, not an hour, just 20 minutes earlier, and literally go for a power walk for 20 minutes.
Okay, nice.
You get out, because you get so much mileage, no pun intended, from waking up early and getting your workout done. You also burn more fat, by the way. So I know there's a lot of people who are concerned about weight loss right now because of our, housebound measures. Yeah. You actually get to burn fat before you eat, when you exercise. So that's a huge trick. And the other thing is that you keep burning more, literally, calories during the day because you've worked out first thing in the morning. So it's like a triple whammy, right? Just 20 minutes. If you are new to this, 20 minutes and power walking, very doable, very doable.
Okay, so that is very doable, right? Anybody, they could do that. Yeah. I'm just thinking how I would do that. I'd probably have to walk 10 minutes that way and then walk 10 minutes back the same way. That would be my 20 minutes done. Okay, so I usually leave my walk until like the afternoon because I'm too busy in the morning, Annie. Right?
Well, I'm like you. I'm super busy in the morning, and I'm a morning person. So my best quality time for my brain is in the morning. So it's made me get up earlier because of that reason, because I am useless in the evening. Useless.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really good. And then, so tell us some of your secrets to productivity, aside from getting out and doing your your power walk.
I remove distractions. So that's a big one. James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, for anybody listening right now who's very much into how do I create better habits, I love that book. It was wonderful. One of the things that he says in that book is truly remove absolutely every distraction. Cut all the tabs that you need open on your laptop, if that's one thing. Usually, people, once you get into an activity, the amount of energy that it gets to ramp up that is necessary, think about it, right? It takes a little bit of time, but as soon as the phone, pings, oh, there you go. You're blowing wherever the wind goes.
Yeah, so you're in reaction mode.
Totally. Yeah. And I schedule absolutely everything. I'm ridiculous.
Tell me something you're almost afraid to admit that you schedule.
I schedule housework.
Okay.
Because I'm very protective of my weekends. I work most weekends of my life. And there are still times, when you own your own business, right? It's all consuming, and you could be working 7 days a week. So that is actually one of the things that will make you have less energy. So in order to protect yourself and increase your productivity, you need to carve out time for rest and rejuvenation. That means no technology, no work, because you need to refill that battery. You become so much more creative afterwards. You become so much more problem solving afterwards. So I actually will put in, okay, housework during that time, and then I get to play and I get to do fun things, or I very much protect that time. So I'm not going to say, oh, I don't feel like it right now, and maybe I'll get it to be done at another time. No, I just put it in, and then I get to have a lot of fun.
I don't think I've ever scheduled housework.
I know. I'm embarrassed to admit it right here, but it helps me stay extremely organized, and also protects that time that I would have normally said, oh, I've got time off, I'm going to go and work on the business. But that's not helping me in the long run.
No, I do agree. I have a thing about not working weekends. I think I've probably worked more weekends in the last few months because of this unusual experience that we're all having. So I was more open to like Saturdays, Sunday evenings, but up until that point, and even now, I'm kind of going back into, no, my weekends are my time. It's like sacred time. And the work is a choice at weekends, right? There's, you know, working on like different projects that just require that bit of time out. So that's different. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And Simi, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see like your smart, successful women, or could be more successful women, doing when it comes to productivity and their energy levels and being in peak performance?
I would say the biggest thing is that they are not driving the agenda of their day. They're letting the exterior world control. So the first thing they do is look at their phones. Yeah. Right? When you do that, you're exposing yourself to everyone else being in control of your thoughts. I would even argue your mood. Because think about it. If you just woke up this morning, Mara, and there was an email from someone, and it was a little, maybe a little rude, maybe a little short, maybe not exactly what you would want, this will taint the kind of day that you're going to have. Right? So that's one of the biggest mistakes. And what happens is, I like to use the analogy of, you are now not only are you not driving your car, you're in the back seat. No. That. Ooh. Right. Right? So you want to get into the driver's seat. Right, of course. Yes, we will be in the driver's seat. So that is one of the biggest things that I work on with clients, in forming better habits and putting systems in place so that you are protecting yourself. And that's about protecting your energy, and that's mental focus as well as physical focus. So not looking at your clock or your phone until, do you have a specific time that you advise them to do? Not until about 8:30. I would say, what would be considered kind of a work day for them. Yeah, so if they start when they start work, look at their phone, but not look at their phone until then. Correct. It never ceases to amaze me, like how simple yet transformative, like the things that we need to do to like really be in control and to be really successful. Because I totally get that. Like I would be guilty of looking at my phone first thing. Well, not maybe first thing, but I'm also quite nosy about what's going on. I'll be the first one. I'm like, what's going on in the world? I want to know. But yeah, I can totally get that, because there have been a couple of mornings where you wake up great and then you're like, it kind of, it does set the agenda for your day. So that's some really good advice, guys. I hope you've got your notebooks. I see like there's a lot of people watching us. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know if you have any questions for Annie. She's we're talking about productivity. We're talking about energy levels. Annie is are you an endurance athlete now or former? Former, because I
You do, you're still an avid runner, but you don't do, she doesn't do Ironman anymore, but she used to do Ironman, everybody. This woman knows what she's talking about. But let us know where you are and if you have any questions around keeping your energy levels up, staying youthful, making sure that you've got lots of, make that you're being as productive as you possibly can be. And I was just asking Annie just when you were joining, what are some of the biggest mistakes? And she was just explaining like something really like simple, but looking at your phone first thing in the morning is a big, massive mistake, because then whatever's going on the phone is going to dictate your day. I know I'm guilty of it, but it's definitely something I'm going to change. Tell us another one. I'm enjoying this.
I think that there's a lack of overall planning. So just as we said, you're in the back seat because you're letting other dictate, is that you have no idea what it is that you truly want to accomplish today. So not just a to-do list, but what am I trying to overall accomplish? And then being very strategic about where's that time going to be spent. Oh, I think so-and-so will need me. Oh, and I think that perhaps, my mother would also need me. Now, it doesn't mean that you become this selfish person, but it does mean that you are very aware of what your priorities are. So are you deciding what you need to do? You know how people say, oh my God, the last 6 weeks flew by and I have no idea where they went. I never have that feeling. I know exactly where those 6 weeks went. That happens when you are not in the driver's seat.
Right.
That's happening when you're in the back and you're looking at the countryside and going, oh, look at the pretty horses. Oh, look at the beautiful mountains, right?
Yeah.
But you've mapped out the route and you know what every stop is going to be and where the next rest stop is going to be like. You know exactly what the road you were on and where the time went.
Yeah, I love that. So simple.
Very, very, very big difference in terms of mindset.
Absolutely. So would you therefore say, like, asking yourself that question on a day-to-day day, what do I want to accomplish today?
Having the map, right? Adjustments. This is not about being inflexible. Actually, it's exactly the opposite. But still understanding where am I going and what am I trying to accomplish. I remember when I was training for Ironman, our coach at the beginning, I was very surprised. So you have to understand, when you sign up for Ironman, you sign up about a year in advance of the race. So my one was in July, so a year before in July, and you start training in the fall. And I was quite annoyed with the coach because he would send me 1 month at a time program. So here are my next 4 weeks. So of course I always knew what I was working towards, but I only had, 4 weeks in front of me, and I would really, really focus on that. Now, the weather, your illness, work came in the way, right? But you always knew what your plan was and, overall where your focus was. And I use that analogy for everything that you're doing in life. It's like, what's your Ironman that you're trying to accomplish? And then what are the things that you need to do? Not, you don't need to know every week. But I remember asking our coach, why is it that you never send me 2 or 3 months in advance? And he used to say, because you're going to be distracted and I need you focused. I need you to do the work and what is required now.
And do you find that translates to business really well then, Annie?
100%. What's the big goal? And of course you're going to be sick. Of course it's going to be raining cats and dogs, and you're going to have modified a training, and life is going to get in the way, and somebody's going to need you and you're going to miss a training. That is all part of it. Yeah. But as soon as you can, you get right back on track. Yeah. Right? Tomorrow's a new day. Boom.
Yeah. I love what you're saying, because this, it really marries them with the whole idea that, business is not a sprint, it really is a marathon, isn't it?
Very much so. Very, very much so. And I used to say that I discovered who I was truly when I started marathoning, because when you're out there, you're all alone, even though there's lots of people around you and you feel very supported, and that's wonderful. There's a community, of course, whether you're in training or at the race itself, but you really get to know yourself.
Mm.
Nowhere to hide. The dark clouds will come in, and it's not if, it's when. And they come, and then you get into these places. And it's really good to get to know yourself that way, because you can use that to become such a high performer at work. Because now I know the tendencies that I had in training, and you make mistakes in races, and then you can apply the learning also at work when you're not executing the plan. Like I remember one day I blew a race completely because I did not follow my plan, which meant that I went too fast. And I was caught by the excitement of the race, and I was very excited. My family had come to see me, which was a surprise. So I was like, woo, everybody's here to see me. But I completely blew it, because halfway through I realized, oh my God, I have spent 80% of my batteries and I still have half the race to go. And I did not get the results that I needed. And this, you can see how you can apply that to life. Like, you have to follow the plan. You can't fast track.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, the amount of entrepreneurs that are just trying to skip steps and skip stages and straight to the passive income, and like yeah, I know. It's like, oh,
right?
Yeah.
And then you're depressed, and then you're like, well, how come I'm not there? And you're disappointed, and you think others are doing better than you. And it's like, no. It's like, I remember, I in order to run the Boston Marathon, you have to qualify. As long as we're, keeping the athletic analogies here. And I failed twice to qualify. And when I finally got it, I applied all of the learning. And then I remember somebody going, oh my God, that looked so easy for you to run that race. And I was like, you have no idea how many tears were in that race. Like, I learned from all the mistakes, and I learned from redoing and adjusting and really getting truly to my peak performance. Right? You can't skip those steps. You really can't.
Yeah, the steps. Yeah, and the lessons are gold, right? Because I had this conversation with one of my clients today that she's made a lot of mistakes in the first, like, say 30 days of working, and you're like, yeah, that's good because it shows you're in action. But at least if you make those mistakes, you learn from them. You're not going to make them again.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, it's all very well and good that we would tell, like your coach, I'm sure it was all well and good him telling you, but you have to actually do it yourself to really realize that that's not something that's going to work, like skipping steps.
No, absolutely. So, people are very hyper focused on these little time management thing. And I always say, if you focus on energy, you will definitely be able to accomplish so much more. Don't you hear that in your practice? Oh, there's not enough time and so on. Then I always say, you're not in lack of time, you're in lack of energy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Let us know if you have any questions for Annie. She's an absolute expert in her topic, and I know you're all being really quiet. I'm the one who's doing all the comments here. Help me out, guys.
Yes.
Around the world. Annie's all the way from Toronto in Canada. That's why she's got this beautiful French accent. Tell me where in Ireland you are, where in Europe you are, where in America you are, what you do. What is on a scale of 1 to 10, how productive are you? Are you an Ironman medal winner as well? There are many of you. Actually, Annie, you know that there's a really there's an endurance race here in Donegal called The Race. Have you ever heard of it?
No. What is it?
Yeah, it's 24 hours, and it's I think it's cycling and swimming and marathon. I don't know. Yeah, cycling, swimming, and marathon. But I think you run a marathon. I think there's like 50 miles of it's a cross country marathon. That's what it is. Really tough terrain. Wow. Then I think there's a 50-mile bike ride, and then there's a swim in the sea as well. How do you think of that?
Oh, I think the swim itself would be very intimidating to me, because of all the disciplines, swimming is my weakest. And swimming in the sea is very daunting, of course, because of the added, challenge of the waves. And it is not for the weaker swimmers. That's definitely, I think that would really scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, I mean, I've watched them, and let me tell you, the weather here is not pleasant. So you can just expect to have weather and rain beating your face off while you're doing it as well. So it's not hearted. So it's not, but you're not. So we have a very quiet audience today. Nobody's saying hi, but I love just now about it's not about a lack of time. It's about a lack of energy. So tell us, Annie, how can people follow you? How can people stay in touch with you? And do you have a free resource that you would like to give people today?
Totally. You know, we created this beautiful guide to help people right now, especially because it is a challenging time, to maintain that energy. So we've designed a guide called Thrive at Home Guide. It's really simple strategies. You know, you talked about that right at the beginning of the conversation. It always make it sound so easy. Absolutely. And they can download it just simply by going to my website, which is veev.ca. That's veev.ca. Okay. And you can just download it there and they will receive it automatically.
So www.veev.ca.com.
Veev.ca. veev.ca.
veev.ca.com.
You don't need the .com, just .ca.
Sorry, I was just hell-bent on putting .com in there on you.
I know, just the little .ca for Canada.
All right, I've just put it into the...
thank you.
Click the link and they grab the free download for the Thrive at Home Guide.
Yes, very simple strategies to really, help you right now have more energy, feel better, and, thrive, not just survive, because that's who wants a life that is just about surviving.
We don't get into business just to survive.
No, exactly. And I would invite anybody who has questions, anybody who's got a specific nutrition question or how to, or difficulty, please, just email me. You will see my contact information is on that website, and I'll be happy to support you.
Perfect. We have a hello from Fiona. She's in Norfolk in UK.
Oh,
hi, Fiona.
Fiona, I love it.
She's a dance teacher online at the moment. I'm curious to know how your business has moved online, Fiona Ann. If you're doing your dance classes online now. I know that I've read about some interesting dance businesses like moving online when before they wouldn't have thought that they could. So that's really great. Thanks for joining us today. So Annie, before you go, I know you've given me some great tips today. Can you leave us with maybe 2 more top tips for people in terms of their productivity and their energy levels and how that they can stay on top of things in this time?
2 things. One, I did touch on it a little bit, but I think it's worth mentioning is making sure that you make time for rest and rejuvenation. This is one of the least used strategies by people, and you get so much more out of your quality of life from doing that, right? Like,
totally.
Just
like I think I shared this with you before that I have it in my calendar, like at 10 p.m. no later, go to bed for rest and rejuvenation right now.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just like, I'll just watch a little bit of a movie, or you'll just like maybe write that blog, and I'm like, no. The alarm goes to make me go to bed.
Yeah. And that's a great system to get into transition, right?
It does help. It's definitely helped me be more with it in the morning and wanting to get up earlier. I love getting up early, but it was for some funny reasons. I seem to be able to get up earlier in the winter than what I am in the summer, which is not the way. I know it's weird. Like I get up at like 5, 6 a.m. in the winter, but then in summer I kind of like find that I'm a little bit. I can't. It just doesn't seem the same. But I'm doing better in this climate. I just want to quickly say hi to FaieCelium. My pet won't let me sleep at night. Oh God, your pet won't let you sleep at night. Get out, Faye. Get rid of the pet. Nothing should stand in the way of you doing that. But you guys are doing this. And if you have any questions, we're going to wrap up in a second, but let us know in the comments if you can pop them here. So I just asked Annie for some two tips on closing. and one being with getting the rest and rejuvenation. So getting to bed early on time at night is so important so that we can be in tip-top shape in the morning. And one more,
and this is one that needs always for everyone a little bit of practicing, but by managing your hormones, you actually balance your energy. And what I mean by that is making sure that every snack and every meal that you have, you make sure that you have protein, that you have a little bit of carbs and good quality fats. This will ensure that you are not at the mercy of insulin and the good old sugar highs and sugar crashes. If you follow that recipe, yeah, we're not focusing on anyone guilty of this here, but it is a challenge for everybody. But
yeah.
I'll tell you, this makes a world of difference in constant energy and not falling into the snacking trap.
Mm.
And then sends you up and down. So it's really easy. A little carb, making sure there's protein in there and good quality fats. And it's amazing how you will have sustained energy all day long.
Mm-hmm. And that'd be like, you know, if you're going to have, you know, maybe a piece of chocolate, that you would have some nuts along with it or something like that.
Yes, exactly. Now, if you're having just a little bit of pieces of dark chocolate, it really doesn't move insulin much. But let's say if you wanted to have, you know, a couple crackers, make sure that you have got, you know, good quality cheese so that it has protein in it, something like that. Or it could have some nice hummus or a little bit of almond butter, which of course, again, good quality protein with some fats. Very easy. You see, it doesn't have to be difficult.
No, it doesn't have to be an Ironman.
No, it doesn't have to be daunting like an Ironman.
Wow, I think you're awesome, Annie. I think any woman who does an Ironman is capable of amazing things. I could just imagine how successful you're going to be in your business and how lucky your clients are to have you, someone with such talent.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being a really awesome guest and for all your tips and your beautiful advice for everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for saying hi. Faye and Fiona Ann, and let us know in the comments about your business, Fiona, and how it's going. And so she's saying she finally moved classes online about 2 weeks ago. So far, so good. Regular clients joined, started to get some interest in new people too. Has been interesting. And that's great. So tune in again. I'm here live all the time, and follow Annie on her social media as well. So Annie, come back and post a comment so people can comment or follow you on social as well. Annie does Facebook Lives as well.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you back here every day this week, actually. Bye.